Okay. All right. Okay, before we begin, I would like to remind the audiences in all the rooms and participants to silence the handphones. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to all. I would like to welcome you to the National ICT Security Discourse CyberSafe Challenge Trophy 2021 Virtual Discourse. The discourse is now in session. First and foremost, let me introduce the timekeepers for this session to you. They are Saudara Syami and Saudara Akhtar, both from Cyber Security Malaysia. And ladies and gentlemen, the panel of experts who will judge today's discourse, please give a big hand to panel number one, Lieutenant Colonel Mustafa bin Ahmad, retired Vice President, Outreach and Capacity Building, Cyber Security Malaysia. Our panel number two is Encik Muhammad Syamil bin Muhammad Yusof, Head of Outreach and Corporate Communications, Cyber Security Malaysia. And panel number three is Mr. Samuel Ravikumar. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the proposal for today's discourse is Cyber Disorder, the New Mental Health Concern Discuss. To present and vying the proposal for the National ICT Security Discourse CyberSafe Challenge Trophy 2021 Virtual Discourse. In this round, they are from the team from SMK Agama Al-Irsyad Pulau Pinang, which will represent Team A. Next, the members of Team B from SM Science Tuanku Aisyah Rohani, Negeri Sembilan. And lastly, representing Team C from SMK Lembah Keramat, Selangor. Now, without further ado, the National ICT Security Discourse CyberSafe Challenge Trophy 2021 Virtual Discourse will begin. And I repeat, the topic for today's discourse is Cyber Disorder, the New Mental Health Concern Discuss. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the opening pitch, I would like to call upon the first presenter from Team A, Nur Husna binti Abdul Rahim, to deliver her proposal.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good evening I bid to all ladies and gentlemen. My name is Husna Rahim and I am the first presenter from Team A. Today, I will be talking about cyber disorder, the new mental health concern. First and foremost, I will be explaining generally about how is the mental health condition in our country, Malaysia. Mental health is the second biggest health concern affecting Malaysians today, after heart diseases. Based on a national survey conducted by our Ministry of Health, it is found that 1 in 9 adults suffer from a mental health condition, which means 11.6% of adults suffer from a mental health in 2006. 14 years later, the number increases 3 times more than before, which means now 1 in 3 adults suffer from a mental health condition. Among teenagers aged 13 to 17, 1 in 5 have depression, 2 in 5 have anxiety, and 1 in 10 of them have stress. This is a very serious issue as 10.1% of them even attempt to commit suicide. Next, the ratio of psychiatrists to Malaysian residents is 1.27 psychiatrists to every 100,000 Malaysian residents. I will be giving the definitions for our topic today. According to the International Journal of Science and Research, in 2013, The term addiction has extended into the psychiatric lexicon to identify problematic internet use associated with significant social, psychological, and occupational impairment. Cyber means computer electronic device, while cyber disorder is a group of disorder characterized by preoccupation with the internet, increased anxiety when offline, hiding or lying about the extent of online use, and the impairment to real life functioning. So, compared to older generation, the younger generation today, with is the Gen Z, is the generation that grew up with the internet. So, most of our youngsters suffer from this disorder. We conducted a survey on 200 students of SMKA Al Irshad, and 90% of them said that they feel their life is incomplete without the presence of the internet and the gadgets. So, this proves that our youngsters severely have this illness. Today, we are going to propose 3 ideas in order to overcome these cyber disorders among our youngsters. So, our first proposal is our product, which is the risk monitor. The second one is the campaign called Watch Your Kids. And the third one is we produce a program called Your Friendly Therapist at Your Service. So, next. Basically, there are 5 types of cyber disorder, which is the first one, cyber sex addiction. It involves online pornography, either image or even videos. Secondly, net compulsion. It is a very concerning activity online as it involves a lot of money wastage. For example, online gambling, trading stocks, online auction, or even online compulsive buying. Thirdly, cyber relationship addiction. It occurs in a person with limited social skill and have unrealistic expectation regarding in-person interaction. Some people also become the victim of a romance scam. For example, last year, a woman from Queensland, Australia has become a victim of a romance scam. Based on an article from ABC News, she thought she was dating a US Army, but instead she has become a fallen victim to an intricate romance scam. Unknowingly, she has laundered 150,000 Australian dollars to an organized crime group. A person with this type of cyber disorder often forget their family and their real life friends. Fourthly, is cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is any harassment that occur via technology. According to International Journal of Science and Research, 80% of teens use cell phone regularly, which means cyberbullying often occur via cell phones because of this. And last but not least is computer or gaming addiction. It is the most prevalent, harmful, and the most common type of cyber addiction. And it is still very harmful till today. Moving on. The causes are peer influence, introduction to gadgets at a very young age, and poor parental control. The biggest symptom of a person with cyber disorder is unable to control how much time you spend online. Based on a study conducted by Queensland University of Technology, it is recommended that young people spend no more than 2 hours a day in front of a small screen. Based on the survey we did on 200 students of Al Irshad, 88% of them spend more than 2 hours a day in front of their gadgets, and some of them even spend more than 8 hours a day in front of their phones. This proves that our youngsters use their gadgets exceeding the recommended hours. Based on the same survey, we can conclude that there are 4 types of effect of people who use their gadgets excessively. So firstly, physically, they will start to have headache, suffer lack of sleep, eye strain, and they will feel fatigue in the morning. Secondly, emotionally, they will start to feel emotionally unstable and they will have sudden changes of mood. Thirdly, mentally, they will start to lose concentration and interest in their responsibility. And last but not least, they will start to develop bad behavior. For example, excessive usage of social media, procrastinating, and neglecting their work, and whereby they tend to skip classes and do not bother by any assignments that were given by their teachers. So that's all from me. Thank you for your attention.
A very big thank you to Nur Husna from Team A. Okay, you just heard the proposal raised by the first speaker. And now let me invite the leader from Team B, Farhah Sufina binti Nizam, the first presenter to deliver her proposal.
Subhanallah. Humans are social creatures. In the absence of the usual face-to-face interaction due to the pandemic, we instead use social media to cope with this need. But before I continue, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon to everyone present. Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever heard about the tragic history of Megan Mayer? Megan Taylor Mayer was an American teenager who died by suicide by hanging herself 3 weeks before her 14th birthday after an account on MySpace named Josh, which she found attractive, started to send troubling messages to Megan and soon took her own life away. This begs a question in our mind. Is it love or is it just an escape from this fear reality? This situation, little by little, relates to our topic for today, as today's proposal is about cyber disorder, the new mental health concern. With the new norm these days, it has been discovered the new type of mental disorder, which is cyber disorder. Acquired from the findings of Internet Users Survey IUS 2020, we could see the comparison of people spending online are increasing from 2018 to 2020, showing that the new norm does affect the internet users. So what is actually meant by cyber disorder? Cyber is defined as computer electronic devices such as PCs, laptops, and tablets, while cyber disorder is a group of disorder characterized by preoccupation with the internet, increased anxiety when offline, and hiding or lying about the extent use of online. Cyber disorder are categorized through 4 subtopics, which are cybersexual addiction, internet addiction, cyberbullying, and cyber relationship addiction. So we decided to narrow down the main topic, which is cyber disorder, to focus more on cyber relationships. You may wonder, why do we focus on cyber relationships rather than the other 3 cyber disorder? Well, it is because through the research made from Pew Research Center, 37% of respondents continue to contact their partner even after saying they were not interested. 36% send them sexually explicit messages and images even if they didn't ask for. 28% called their matches by offensive names, and 9% threatened to physically harm their matches. Through these researches, we could see that cyber relationships have a severe effect on teenagers and youth nowadays and should be given more attention. Back to our main focus for today, what is cyber relationships all about? Cyber relationship is an interaction between people who have met online and in many cases know each other only via the internet. Online relationships are similar in many ways to pen pal, but it could be romantic, platonic, or even based on business affairs. For example, okay, I'm not saying that cyber relationship is a very bad thing, because we could see from the base case scenario of cyber relationship, there are many long-lasting couples, married couples, and even friends that met online. But why did this topic need to exist in the first place? It's because of the worst case scenario that made its debut worldwide. It's just us that are blinded from being conscious about these issues. For example, romance scam, also known as an online dating scam, is when a person is tricked into believing they are in romantic relationship with someone they met online. In fact, their other half is a cyber criminal using a fake identity to gain enough of their victims to trust to us or blackmail them for money, or even worse, because we never know, human trafficking. Honorable panel of experts, we carried out a survey called Modern Enslavement in Digital Space in order to identify how involved students are with cyber relationships and to develop a solution framework in instilling information about cyber relationship. And we got about 140 respondents among the age 14 to 22. Based on our survey, 57.1% of respondents experienced unintentional promotion of pornography, while 47.1% and 20% of respondents admit being sexually harassed and are natural with opening up to strangers online, respectively. Even though the number might be less than those who disagree, it is still concerning to think that they are not scared to share everything with a stranger online. Ladies and gentlemen, derived from the data collected, it has helped us to point out the problems in the youth these days and how we, as a teenagers and youth, are going to act toward this situation. Maybe we can include the peer influence among students, or maybe we can have a school involvement, or better, a big organization like Cybersecurity Malaysia. All of the question and answer regarding our plan of action will be elaborated by our second presenter. And with that, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Farha. Now proceeding further into this session, Team C will now present their proposal. Please welcome the first presenter of Team C, Mara Alisa binti Muhammad Abbas.
Okay, I'll start. So, a very good afternoon, I bid to everyone present here. I am Mira, and the topic of our discussion today is cyber disorder, the new mental health concern. So, our main focus for today, our team's main focus today is that our discussion will be circling around the letter D. So, without further ado, we'll start with the first D, which is definition, where I'll be defining two phrases mentioned in the topic. So, first, we have cyber disorder. So, cyber disorder, as defined by the IJSR, is a group of disorder related to being preoccupied with the internet. So, when we say preoccupied with the internet, we are referring to someone who has increased anxiety when they're offline. They hide or lie about the extent of online use, which we can see from their screen time, and they're so preoccupied to the point that it causes impairment to their real life functioning. So, cyber disorder is also more known as internet addiction, and someone who suffers from this disorder can be considered a cyber addict. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's the difference between cyber addict and a cyber user? So, let's take one of the most common cyber disorder, gaming addiction, as an example. So, just because you play games for 3 hours a day, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're addicted. So, we say that you're addicted, it becomes a concern when your life revolves around the game. So, for example, you start building a whole new persona heavily influenced by the game. You start raising your voice at your mom when she asks you to stop playing, or you're so obsessed that you abandon your social needs or school assignments. So, an addiction is when it harms yourself without yourself knowing. So, next we have mental health. So, as defined by the World Health Organization, mental health is a state of well-being where one they realizes their own abilities, they can cope with the normal stresses of life like schools or job, and is able to make a contribution to the community, even if it's a small thing like being aware of what's happening around them. So, what I defined was mental health, but our main focus today is mental health problems which can influence the way someone thinks and change their perception on things, and even worse, it can damage their relationship with others and their physical health. Some examples would be depression or anxiety. So, ladies and gentlemen, cyber disorder does not know age or gender. It's not a virus that sticks to you against your own will. Most of the time, you yourself choose them. So, what's being shown right now, the statistic, this is the rate of internet usage in Korea based on a survey by the KISA in 2017. So we can clearly see that the rate of usage has dramatically increased from 44.7% in 2000 to 90.3% in 2017. So this dramatic increase is one of the main factor why we say that it's a new mental health concern. Other main factor is that cyber disorder has yet to be officially recognized as a mental health problem. Even when researchers have formulated a diagnosis criteria, it has yet to be included in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, or the DSM-5, which is a manual used to assess and diagnose mental health problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, to further elaborate, to show you the correlation between cyber disorder and how this affects mental health, we will be using the 4 levels of disorder, or the 4Ds, which is the main method used to assess or diagnose a psychological disorder. So this is our second D for today, deviance. So deviance refers to a behavior that is seen as unusual by the society, or simply put, it goes against the society norm. So this is the first stage because it's a pretty subjective assessment. What really is normal? So for today, my focus, there are many aspects to be taken into account, but my main focus today will be context. Say, if I ask you if it's normal to sit in front of your computer and play games all day, would you say yes? Well, most would say no. But what if, in this context, that person is an esports athlete? Wouldn't playing games be a part of their job? So, the clear difference we can see is that esports athlete is playing with a goal in mind, which is to win and get the prize money. While on the other hand, cyber addicts is playing to escape from the real world and only to get high. So cyber users, they deviate and use the internet as a way to cope and as a way to feed their ego. Just like how using social media itself is not wrong, but it becomes a problem when you use apps like Instagram to constantly update about every single little detail of your life while expecting people to like your posts. So the likes are influencing the way you think, which in a way affecting your mental health. Now that you have deviated, that brings us to the second D, which is dysfunction. So you're now dysfunctional and you're now unable to function normally as a member of society. You're now dysfunctional, so you're now unable to cope with the demands of everyday life, like maintaining relationships or taking care after yourself. From a straight A student that strives for perfection, you're now nothing more than an outcast looking at the screen with red eyes. From the breadwinner of the family, putting food on the table is now out of the question. So this failure to function has causes incomprehensibility and unpredictability within yourself, where you don't know yourself and others don't even know you. To the eyes of others, you're a stranger. And now this dysfunction that stems from the deviance will then lead you to the third D, distress, which my second presenter will be elaborating on. So with that, I hope you understand the depth of our topic today and how serious this is. So thank you.
Well, thank you to Mira Alisa from SMK Lembah Kramat, Team C. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would now call upon the second speaker from Team A to present the follow-up points to their proposal. Please give a big hand to Alia Raihana binti Johan Ihsan.
Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to my respectable audience, my fellow teammates and the honorable team of opponents. My name is Alia Rahana and I will be the second presenter of Team A today. So today, I wish to share about our ideas on the ways that we can overcome this issue, which is cyber disorder. First and foremost, we can develop a device which acts as a surveillance detector or a controller, which is known as the wrist monitor. So this wrist monitor, it is an adaptation of an ankle monitor, which is used by defendants who are still in trials. But the difference between this wrist monitor and the ankle monitor is that this wrist monitor is used by a parent and a child. So what are the functions of this wrist monitor? First of all, the parents can control the amount of time that their children are spending on the gadget. This is a sketch of the wrist monitor. Moving on to the next function, the parents can also keep track of the history and internet log of their children to avoid access to inappropriate content of entertainment like pornography and violence. This device also comes with an application which is downloaded by the parents to connect the wrist monitor to the parent's phone, and it also connects the wrist monitor to the child's phone. So what it does is that when the child has exceeded his time limit, or when he has access to an unsuitable content of entertainment, the parents will receive a signal from this wrist monitor on their phone. This way, the parents will be notified and they can turn off the Wi-Fi source, or they can confiscate their children's gadgets. Besides from all these features, this wrist monitor is also waterproof, practical, and environmental friendly. Though it is made out of plastic, but this plastic is a recycled one. So technically, we are not harming the earth, as we are not taking any more resources that is left on the earth. It is also fashionable, as it comes in many variations of colors, which is suitable for children and teenagers to use at school. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to my next point is the campaign Watch Your Kids. This campaign is targeted to parents and teachers so that they will be more aware and concerned about the usage of gadgets of their children. First of all, parents need to explain why they are taking these course of actions. This is to create a relationship where it is misunderstand free, so that we can create a relationship between the parents and the child conflict free. We do not want to grow hate and conflict between the parents and child when they are taking these actions. We do not want the child to go against and rebel against the parents. The parents can set a healthier routine by including family activities every now and then on a daily basis to let their children explore themselves, let them have variations of hobbies, let them sew together, cook together, go for a swimming, or perhaps play board games together. They can also put away their phone at night to avoid excessive usage of the gadgets, especially when during the bedtime. But if their children are having a mental health problems, the parents first of all need to acknowledge that their children are having these problems. Help them to seek the help. Send them to see therapists. Send them to see psychiatrists. You must not be ignorant. You must not let your child suffer alone. You need to help them and support them while they are fighting this illnesses. You need to acknowledge that your child is having the problems and you need to be there for them all the time. Apart from parents, teachers also plays a role. Teachers can spread awareness by including cyber disorders and including topics like cyber disorders and cybersecurity in their lesson. This way, we can spread the awareness among the students about the importance of limitations of time when we are using the gadgets. For example, in English textbooks Form 4, which is full glass textbook, it includes a specific chapter dedicated to the limitations of time when we are using the gadgets, and that chapter is called Time Out. Here, it emphasizes the importance of us discovering ourselves and exploring the hobbies that we may have instead of spending all of our time on the gadgets only. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least is the role of the government. We strongly suggest that the government provide more psychiatrists and therapists in the society so that
On the point, madam.
Yes.
About the wristwatch, a wrist monitor. So you didn't specify what each child is. So does this include teenagers? And even isn't this invasion of privacy?
No, it is not considered as invasion of privacy. You see, to discipline your child, you need to have some sense of control. Yes, laws. Yes, you can feel like your privacy has been violated, but here, like laws, they are there for a reason. Have you need to be controlled, and there are some things in life that you can't be free about. There are some freedom in life that is unnecessary, and that is like using your gadgets. If you are using it too freely, then you may develop an addiction. Instead of having a habit, it may develop into an addiction. Or as we know here, cyber disorder. So for the age, we recommend it to use it on children because this is a device that is targeted to the parents so that the parents can use it on their children. Child or maybe the teenagers, they can use it excessively. So it will be a perfect device for them to limit their time when they are using the gadget.
Miss, can I ask a question?
Oh, yes. Yes, then.
How do we ensure that the child is honest and the wrist monitor is worn at all times?
Well, this wrist monitor has its own lock and unlock system. It involves the iris scanning of the parents. As it comes with its own application, the parents can use the system of biometric to iris scan themselves. This way, they can lock and unlock that wrist monitor on their own only, and the children cannot mm, lock and unlock the wrist monitor by themselves. Okay. Okay. Moving on to my last point, which is the government's role. We strongly suggest that the government provide more psychiatrists and the therapists in the society to help these patients and individuals to get treatment for themselves. According to a consultant psychiatrist of University Malaya Specialist Center, Professor Ng Chong Guan, he said that the normal ratio he said that the normal ratio of a psychiatrist to a population is 1 to 10,000. So, but here in Malaysia, the ratio is 1 to 100,000, which is ridiculous. It shows that the patients will have a hard time to get a treatment for themselves. And last but not least is the program of your friendly therapist at your service. This program is targeted to the individuals who are in need and have been diagnosed with addiction or disorders. Therefore, hopefully this program can help these individuals to be more open in the future and help themselves get the treatment. With that, I end my speech and thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you to second speaker from Team A, Alia Raihana. We have just heard some interesting points raised by the second speaker. And this session continues with Aida Farzana binti Muhammad Yusri, the second speaker from Team B. A big hand for her.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In 2019, a news broke out in South Korea, the anti-hate room. The chat room consisted of hundreds of teenagers and youth girls, including minors from the age of 12. They were catfished through social media and then forced to share news. The news pictures sent were then shared by the admin in the group. Here, we can see that teenagers and youth, especially girls, are in absolute danger. Who knows that jobs offers ads on social media could turn into the worst nightmare? Today, you find people of all ages and backgrounds finding compatibility through online websites or social media that promote safe haven for individuals' personalities to express themselves. The culture of online relationships has grown into a subculture where people feel that interpersonal relationships are the new norm. New relationships form every day with a new and improvised social media because now there are methods to regulate privacy and conduct to protect people. But the question here is, how are we as teenagers and youth supposed to protect ourselves from being involved with the ugly side of cyber relationship? We have come up with a solution targeted to the youth and teenagers. You may wonder, why do we focus only on teenagers and youth? According to a research survey in Malaysia, a closer look indicates that youth aged 13 to 34 make up a huge percentage of 80.3% of the social media users in Malaysia. According to Mahadi in 2013, the highest percentage of social media users in Malaysia are between 18 to 24 years old, followed by youth aged 25 to 34, and those in the 13 to 17 age category. Honorable POEs, here we propose you Cyberspace Sweepers Club, also known as CSS, a new core curricular club that promotes healthy acts on how to manage one in digital space. As the name itself, Cyberspace Sweepers, we aim to sweep away all the negativities in cyberspace, but we need to remember that there will still be traces of cyber microdust left behind. Just like how Dr. Muda Club is nationwide, we are hoping that this club will be introduced soon to school across Malaysia. By applying the same concept as how Dr. Muda Club is under supervision of Ministry of Health of Malaysia, we ask assistance and training from Cybersecurity Malaysia as the supervision from them is needed to ensure the objectives of the program are fulfilled. Our main objectives are to implement cyber awareness among students on how to be good cyber citizens and to minimize the number of victims, especially students being abused online. You may wonder, who are the members of this club? The answer is the students of age 13 to 17. They are chosen based on their knowledge on cyber ethics and proper ways on how to use the internet. Two, an extrovert person. Number three, an active person on social media and also must have knowledge in IT. But why are the criteria too detailed? Isn't it too demanding? Well, if you compare to other organizations such as prefects, they want students that behave well, good in academic, also active in co-curricular activities in order to influence other students. I ask you, do you want someone who majors in history, for example, to perform a heart transplant? This means no matter how powerful someone is, you still need an expert in a specific field in order to be successful. The club member will be active during school days, especially during co-curricular activity sessions, and every time they are online. We aim to take place at school grounds, especially during school assembly and also social media. We have answered the who, when, and where, but what about the hows? CSS members act to promote cyber ethics at school, guiding students on how to use the internet wisely and using social media to extend awareness. Each member will be speaking during assembly about how to use the internet wisely. This session will be able to promote cyber ethics to students and even teachers. As for social media, the club member play a big role to create a trend on social media such as Twitter to confess about any scary or suspicious relationships experienced on social media. Though this trend will just have a short-term effect on cyber relationship addiction awareness, we have confidence that this trend will be relevant for at least a couple of months. We believe that by implementing this, other victims will not feel that they are alone and they can stand with others. Youth and teenagers can show their power by voicing out what has troubled them, and at the same time, there will be people who help the victims to overcome their fear through the comment section. This trend will be successful when many people, especially influencers, participate in this trend. Yes?
So you said just now that this Cyberspace Sweeper Club will help every time they are online, and you also said that the members are they who are actively online. So can you explain how can this club keep on track the time the members are online, or even Will this club function even if they are online during midnight? Thank you.
Okay, so our CSS Members Club will be online on social media. But the problem is we are boarding school students. So how are we going to make sure that other students will not be active on social media as you stated on midnight? Okay, so we are this club is a nationwide. So other schools, especially like daily school, they can monitor the other students, their friends, their batchmates, the juniors and seniors on midnight, because we know that not every student sleep early and some of them are midnight owl and such, so they can monitor the others. And I continue my proposal. This trend will be successful when many people, especially influencers, participate in this trend. As this club is nationwide, it is hopefully that people across the country will join this. Of Of course, there's no rainbow without rain. We believe there will be people blinded by the truth and attack and shame the victims. Here is where we, the CSS members, take action. The head comments will be recorded by screenshotting it as a proof that the person has wrong. Then us, the CSS members, will report the account under one specific reason in order to take down the account. And by a couple of years later, we deduced that the number of online harassers in Malaysia will reduce because they are scared of their accounts being suspended or even worse, deleted. Teamwork makes the dream work. We will unite in order to make sure the digital space becomes a better platform as we teenagers and youth today depend on technology for a better future. We hope that our proposal will be brought forward. And with that, I thank you.
Okay, thank you, Team B, Aida Farzana. And finally, let's listen to the points for the proposal by the second and last member of Team C, Nur Shafina Sumaira binti Shahril Anhar. Your time will start when you are ready.
A very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to continue the discussion that my team has on the 4Ds. I will be continuing my first presenter. Ladies and gentlemen, the third D is distress. This person has a feeling of distress, the feeling of extreme anxiety, sorrow, and emptiness for a long period of time. As for an example, not only does this individual feel distressed, but now he starts to lose himself, to lose his job, and suffers financially. Relationship breakdowns, family problem, which makes everyone around him be in distress too. And for a student, the feeling of not getting your assignments or homework done, the stress and pressure your family and friends put you in. This can all be a concern of mental health. Having seen how distressful cyber disorder can be, ladies and gentlemen, I am very much afraid to say that we do not stop at distress. If this mental health concern is not addressed, then it will bring us to our next D, danger. Ladies and gentlemen, danger has an element of threat. That means either your security, personal, professional health is threatened. Danger to not just yourself, but to everyone surrounding you. This person does not care about his health, having to deal with the feeling of self-hate? What if he does not get his work and projects done from his job and he is giving a letter to no longer continue working for that company? Feeling he doesn't belong on this earth anymore. Now this person feels useless and worthless, which could lead to self-harm, suicide, or trying to let the anger out to everyone surrounding him. Ladies and gentlemen, I am terrified just thinking about how this person could want to hurt the people around him, could be sacrificing other people's life for his satisfaction. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it could lead to gun violence, abuse, or addicts. And unfortunately, that was not my last D. My next D is diagnosis. There's both mental and physical symptoms that I will be elaborating on. Let's say this individual has gone through a drastic weight gain or weight loss, knowing they love exploring food or keeping fit, going to the gym. This makes us, yes, the people surrounding them, to be curious on why did this happen. This person could suddenly start to binge eat or to not eat at all. They could also excessively imitate what they see on screen. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is not just wanting the same colored nails or hairstyle as they see on screen, but has come to a point where they don't have a decent lifestyle anymore. These people are in need of a serious professional medical help. And the fact that it's hard to get affordable therapy and medication makes it even worse. I mean, it's easy to say if you have covered insurance, but most of these people don't have that kind of money and wealth to afford that. It could also be isolation, where this person feels like it's not important anymore to go out. There's no need to go out. He doesn't care about their job, doesn't want to do their homework, doesn't want to talk to anyone in the outer world, and also probably feels like the screen is way important than their health. Anxiety, depression plays a big role in mental health. The percentage of people who experience symptoms of depression is highest amongst those aged 18 to 29 at 21%, which are mostly according to CDC data. This not including the number of people with depression and anxiety that has not been reported. Ladies and gentlemen, some causes of depression could be divorce, illness, job, or money loss, or even social life. This takes us back to the team's third D, distress. So you see, cyber disorder is not something to take lightly off. Day by day, this gets even worse. Ladies and gentlemen, we are playing with the letter D. Cyber disorder is a mental health concern, but we are far from doomed because we have for you the last D of our discussion, deterrence. We can deter. We can take tiny steps to prevent cyber disorder from going right up to the danger level. Two things on why this problem occurs. One from lack of knowledge, and two from an overwhelmed amount of fear. How do we deter, ladies and gentlemen? Two letters. We'll take a step away from the D and add an R. DR, same initial you would put before a doctor's name. Two things. One, by raising awareness. Two, by reducing stigma. Let me begin with awareness. When we are aware, we are alert. Or how do we know a person is in danger of their symptoms? We can help them to reach professional help. So if we are aware and raise awareness on the 4D, the diagnosis and symptoms, we can prevent cyber disorder from happening, which now brings me to the second R, to reduce stigma. Ladies and gentlemen, fear is the enemy of all people. Let's remove this fear of mental health problems. This can be done through education. Mental health can be diagnosed and can be treated either through therapy or medication. Ladies and gentlemen, kinder society are able to encourage them to seek for help. We can do this together. We don't have to be afraid of mental health. It is a normal thing. It could be treated with therapy, with medication. There is so many ways. There is no such thing to make this as a taboo topic. Ladies and gentlemen, I end our discussion on cyber disorder by recapping the 4Ds: deviance, dysfunction, distress, and how we can recognize it. Through diagnosis, we seek for medical professional help with the circle, our friends and family. And now the final D. Let us all deter and help those with cyber disorder. I hope you see the bigger picture of this discussion and to not take this as something so little. Mental health is a concern.
Miss,
Thank you. Yes?
Okay, I have a question. Can you give us an example of mitigation for cyber disorder? Because cyber disorder is something new, so we have yet no cure to it.
Okay. Although there is no cure 100% to remove cyber disorder, there is medications and therapy that you can be taking. First of all, antidepressants that could be prescribed by your doctor. And second of all, therapy by seeing a cyber psychiatrist or a therapist and seek for immediate medical professional help. And I can assure you that, of course, there is no immediate cure, but step by step, we can do this together. Thank you. That is all.
Miss, I have another question.
Continue. A decline,
So-
sorry.
Excuse me.
So, how are we supposed to help these individuals or these patients if we do not have enough therapists or psychiatrists in this country? Thank you.
Decline, sorry.
Okay. Okay, a very big thank you to Nur Shafina Sumaira. So you've heard the points by the second and the final speaker from Team C as Kilamba Kramat. Okay, now let's further continue to the core of the discourse, which is you have my interest. Therefore, I would like to call upon any of the POEs of today who would like to seek clarification from all the teams. As a reminder, this session will last for exactly 15 minutes. So POEs, you may now have your stage. Lima belas.
Ya konflik dengan konflik dengan
Can everybody listen to me? Bagi aku masuk, Bubut. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me?
Dengar.
Testing
Can.
1,
We can
2,
hear
3,
you.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Can
Yes.
you hear me out there?
Yes, we can.
Alright. So I've been disconnected for more than 50 minutes. So I think I excuse myself lah. Boleh dengar?
Boleh.
Sekarang ni I tak nampak apa SMK Al-Irsyad is not in the picture. Is it evident?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dengar tak? Can you hear me? All the contestants?
Yes.
Alright, thank you.
Slow.
Can we proceed with the question, Cik Mus? Cik Mus, can we proceed with the question from the POE?
I can't hear you lah. I can't hear you.
Bos tak dengar. I have a question for one of the ni. Oh, the other side. Alright.
Dia tanya CPOE.
I wonder.
Participant, can you hear us?
Yes, we can hear you.
Penang, can you hear me? RH.
Yes, we can.
You can hear me. Okay, I have question for Sekolah Menengah Agama Al-Irsyad. I'm interested to the programs that you have. You have mentioned a couple of activities that you want to proceed, want to propose for the program lah. I mean, the device, the risk just now, the campaign, government rules and whatnot. How do you plan to roll these activities? Is it simultaneously, or how do you plan to proceed with the activities? What is something like, what is your action plan lah, to proceed with the activities that you mentioned just now? Do you have a timeline? Do you have a target deadline? Do you have like and who are again the target audience of each of the programs?
So for the campaign Watch Your Kids, we suggest that the not government organization conduct this campaign so that we can help to spread the awareness among the parents and the teachers, among the adults. But about the program Your Friendly Therapist at Your Service, we strongly suggest that the government take this role as it involves the therapist, a more higher or powerful authority. So for the parents to be, we also recommend to take a pregnancy course or a parental class so that they can learn the dynamics of discipline when they are disciplining their children. So, yeah. And
Engage it.
thank you.
All right. Team B, can you hear me, Team B? Team B, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. This question is for Team B. In your discussion just now, you were talking about cyber disorder. You gave us a very broad definition encompassing cyber relationship addiction, cyber bullying, cyber sexual addiction, computer and internet addiction. But you just mentioned all four, but in your discussion, you just specifically discussed only cyber relationships addiction. Thereby, what you did was you dealt with a very narrow focus and scope in your presentation. What was the strategy behind this, or why did you have to leave out the other three aspects of cyber disorder?
Okay, thank you for a very wonderful question. So first, based on my presentation just now, we decided to narrow down to cyber relationship because through the research that we made from Pew Research Center, 37% of respondents continue to contact their partner even after saying they were not interested. 35% send them sexually explicit messages, 28% called their matches by offensive names, and 9% threatened to physically harm their matches. Through this, we could see that cyber relationships have a severe effect on teenagers and youth nowadays and should be given more attention. And for the other subtopics, according to a survey conducted by Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission (MCMC), teenagers and youth makes up 4.7% of non-internet users, being the second least age group of not using the internet. So teenagers and youth, they are the most exposed to these problems. So instead of focusing on the other subtopics, cyber relationship needs to have more attention to, because I don't think so there are much attention given to cyber relationships. And with that, I thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I've been disconnected for a while for just now. So it's not the participant who have been disconnected, but the chief POE being disconnected. But unfortunately, I thought it was supposed to be stopped when someone has already been disconnected. So these are the things that the teething problem. But anyway, I do have a question for Sekolah Menengah Lembah Keramat. Basically, I like the one that you were talking about, the difference between e-sport and also the addiction to e-sport and addiction to a normal user. But basically, in your opinion, SMK Lembah Keramat, do you think the government effort in encouraging students, in encouraging teenagers, in encouraging e-sport athlete to do or to participate in e-sport, as you know that e-sport will be organized not only at the Southeast Asian Sea Games level, at the ASEAN level, and soon it will be organized at the Olympic level. So do you think that this should be something that we need to encourage, or something that we perhaps curtail down and maybe do away the program, since it has something to do with internet addiction? Can you enlighten me with that? Thank you.
Thank you for the lovely question.
Okay.
Esports is something really big, and it's not it's not something that has been brought up to since a long time ago. It's been recent that esports is new. To educate youth to be wise, at the same time, the government could help an esport challenge at the stadium, which we've seen happen in the United States of America. But in Malaysia, I have never seen an esport challenge or an esport competition happen. But we could set up a campaign and tell these people that this career can go further, and these people could go for an international level. And by setting up a competition, this not only just we have an annual sports Olympics that is held by like SEA Games, but this is something different. This is more to um, encourage young youth people to get on their laptops and play this game, but at the same time not being addictive to cyber and internet. Thank you.
Okay lah. Okay, apa ni? Go back to our apa ni moderator.
Is that all? Ada lagi? Any more questions?
We are supposed to ask only one question each, kan? So all the questions been answered? Each school have been posed a question? Sudah, eh? Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. A big thank you to the panel of experts and to all the presenters. So we have heard the presentations and points raised by all the teams. Therefore, the panel of experts will now proceed to the backstage to tabulate the scores and decide the winner. All the teams are to remain online, as the POEs will come back shortly with the winner of this session. Macam nak tablet dengan saya dulu.
Semua dapat sijil aja.
Okay.
Katan sudah tu saya buka apa?
So just end dengan macam mana?
Oh, are they still online?
I think you just wanna straight to Katan tu, tak payahlah nak go to the announcing scripts.
Katan nak
Okay,
cakap sikit dengan dia orang.
I mean, maybe I go first and then I just wait very fast lah. Then we pergi ke Katan.
Bukan, ask Tan to come online lah.
Ada dah tu.
Ada dah. She's online.
Tapi dengan better kalau everyone dibaca last week tu.
Yalah.
Without announcing the winner.
Yes.
Can.
Itu tak pakai wristwatch macam tu lah.
Thank the participant.
Ada.
Okay, last to everyone.
Everyone just see today there's no results. Today is a mock discourse.
Okay, alright. So dah ready lah. Dah ready kita.
Asyik nak bagi sikit komen kat dia orang. Thankful lah. Not talking about the connectivity bro, just macam tadi saya tanya dia, terus ada 4 aspek dia sebab dia cuma satu dia pilih, pandai-pandai dia pilih satu dia. Ada 3 dia, cyberbullying tak sentuh, semua tak sentuh. Lopsided.
Back to everyone.
Wait, buku tak ready lagi. Ada lah.
They don't read. But when you sit down, it's very easy. Plus,
Even you put the text on the screen also cannot tell kan because of your punya.
Okay, we're good.
The group setup very good. Mana Cik Mus?
disconnected.
Dah. Nak baca ni? Baca dulu tak?
Kena dulu.
Kopi dulu je.
All right, here I am, talking like a hurricane. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Kapten, Mr. Sam, Mr. Sam and Mr. Chamil. Apa ni, Chief Chairperson. All right, there you go. Okay. I would like to see them lah. Boleh tak? How do I see them? Zul, can you put them on, I mean, rather than put me at the forefront? Yes, buat macam tu. I like that. Okay, Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Agama Al-Irsyad, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
SMS Sonar Science Tuanku Aisyah, your thumbs up please. And the 3 thumbs up from the SMKLK Lembah Keramat. Amira, Nurja, okay, dengar semua ya. Alright, thank you. Okay, what happened to Mr. Sam Shamil? Where is he? You're mute over there. Okay, by the way, okay, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate each and every one of you who have done a splendid job, a superb job of understanding and also doing that. Give a big round of applause to all of you. I was quite surprised. I thought, for being the first time and everything, this will be something yang opening kita will be not easy for you to comprehend. But then again, so far I've seen, but maybe perhaps the picture of you on the monitor is too small that I couldn't find out. Maybe you were reading or you were talking without the script. But then again, I see that especially the 3 first speakers, can express themselves. I will leave the content for Kapten to criticize lah. But anyway, this is the way the things are going, and these are also the things yang the do's and don'ts. There are things that orang kata we find out that that as a chief POE I was being kicked out. And in fact, I was disqualified because I was out more than 15 minutes. But anyway, but this is what happened when you go online. But then again, throughout, when I listen to your presentation, you do have the the aptitude for it, and I hope that you can further improve by doing, elaborate more things and do more things. But then again, I want to stop here first. Then I will allow our other chief POE and also our chief technical officer to give their thoughts on it. So perhaps I allow people from Cybersecurity Malaysia from the media center. Who wants to come first? Mr. Sam and also Cik Shamil?
Yes.
Lastly, go to Mr. So please, I'll go to you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Colonel. Can you all hear me, all teams? Team A, are you here?
Yes.
Team B and Team C, all of you can hear me. Okay, good job. First and foremost, this was a mock discourse, and I think all of you did very well. However, just some things I would like to highlight so that you could improve on your presentation overall, right? The first thing was when the second speakers from all teams spoke, right? They would speak for 8 minutes. Remember, teams? First minute, the bell was sounded. After that, immediately, actually, you can pose your questions. So, what happened this time round was, even though the time for questioning was open for all the second speakers from minute 2 to minute 7, yet the questions didn't come in until about the 5th minute, right? So, what happened was there was a sudden rush of questions. So actually, you can start preparing and utilize the time to its optimum level by posing your questions right from the second minute right up to the 7th minute. So use that time very carefully when all the second speakers come on stage. Do you understand, teams? So that was something you could improve on this time round because the questions came only after the 5th minute. Got it, teams? That's one. Number two, just team by team. Team one. Irshad, not too bad, right? Good presentation overall. Um, of course, you got caught with the wrist monitor, the gadget. And so both the questions that were asked against you were about the wrist monitor. Was it going to work? How to ensure it's on at all times? Whether it was invasion of privacy. Questions were pretty good, but the answers given by Team A could have been better, Irshad, right? So when you have a gadget being proposed, you must know the questions are going to come against a gadget such as this, so you must get ready to answer. Got it, Team A?
Yes.
Okay, right. So that's one. Team B, right? Team B, you got caught because you gave, as I mentioned in the, you have my interest, four spectrums, four facets to your definition, but you picked on one, right? So cherry picking is something very dangerous when it comes to presentation. You can't say that the definition has four, but I will only discuss about one. So that puts you at the receiving end of not being very overall, not being very well prepared. Science school, are you listening to this? Right. So when you mention four, you either deal with all four. So don't cherry pick. That what will happen is we get a very narrow discourse on during your presentation. Right. Finally, sorry about this. I'm just doing this so you can get better next time around, girls. Right. Team C. Team C. Right. You mentioned all the D's. Remember, Lembak Rahman. You mentioned all the D's, right? I was quite impressed with all the D's, the deviance, the dysfunction, distress, danger, diagnosis. But you stopped with diagnosis, right? And there was no D. Of course, you went on to deterrent. You didn't talk about deterrence, but you didn't talk about any D that deals with the solution, the therapy, the help needed, right? So I think it was posed. One of the questions to you was, but you just mentioned there are many ways, so we will not discuss the ways. That was your answer with regard to what are the solutions, the therapy, and the help. So you did not discuss that. So that would be good if you include. So in conclusion, what I'm trying to say is all of you, you give an overall well-rounded presentation would be much better, right? So make sure you deal with all the points so that you can come out best overall. All right? That's about it. If not, I'll go until buka puasa. Thank you.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum. Good evening, guys. Semua. Thank you very much for the presentation. Overall, okay lah. I mean, I'm quite amazed with probably the short notice given, the slides, preparation and whatnot. Sebenarnya just a few comments. Contohnya when you are quoting something, especially on statistics ke apa, it must be clearly stated on the sources. Mana you dapat sumber tu? At the end, at the bottom of the PowerPoints or that particular stat, so that we know you actually took that statistics code from legitimate sources lah. Secondly, on the POE, in NICTSeD, you can easily gain points from the POE questions, because that is the uniqueness of of this competition. So when POE give you a question, you should be able to answer it. Probably it's not scripted, but by understanding the whole topic, understanding the topic, and when you are doing your research and whatnot, you should be able to answer it well. That is the uniqueness of the competition, where you can get more marks for your team through the POE questions. The third one is probably the etiquette lah, I would say kan. Even though the NICTSeD discourse is different from the normal debate, but you still have to continue with greetings, ending your speeches with thank you, probably, don't forget about it. And then work on your PowerPoint, because one of the uniqueness of this competition is where you present your PowerPoint presentation kan. You can do wonders with PowerPoints. For example, macam sekolah Lebah Keramat, you showed your 4Ds or 5Ds just now. You should be able to do another like macam link kan, from that part, one of the these two, for example kan. You can click that will give you to another, that will lead you to another PowerPoint that will give explanation or visuals, diagram, graphics, or whatnot on that particular point. So work well on your PowerPoints. That is the uniqueness of that. Is a specialty about this program, this competition. But overall, I should thank you for your effort. All schools has given their best, I would say, but you can improve for future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just one more thing to add. You realize something in the way you presented. Team A, Irshad, when you spoke, you stood up, right? Team B, Suramban, when you presented, you stood up as well, correct? Lembah Keramat, you were seated, right? So one thing we noticed was, in a presentation such as this, reading is not encouraged, because it really does nothing to better your marks when you read, right? When you stand, the chances of you reading is highly unlikely, because you're already standing. But I noticed that those who were seated, Lembah Keramat, especially Myra, Eliza, there was some reading on your part, right? So maybe next time round, you could make sure that we don't get to see you reading. Thank you.
Okay, that's about all from us in Media Center.
Thank you. All right, Katan, your comment in 5 minutes. Because we were out just now. For your information, we had some streaming problem just now. Now we're okay. Okay, Katan, please. The camera is yours.
Katan is not on.
Sound. Katan, sound. Yo, unmute. Katan, unmute yourself, please.
I got it. All right, found it. Finally. Okay, still getting used to this platform. All right. First and foremost, kudos to all the teams. Yeah, bravo. You're the first people to do the virtual discourse online for NICTSeD. Okay? Yeah. So, like I would tell my students, those who will sit for SPM this year, I say you're lab rats. Experiment is on you. So pretty much that's what's happening to all three of our three teams here. Okay, a few pointers to the teams. Number one, during the discourse and all that, if we are still under the MCO and all that, I like to advise that make sure you have the 1 meter, especially if we are going to live stream it on YouTube and all that. We don't want the police to come knocking at our doors after the competition. Okay, so make sure you do that. Second one, the setup time was a bit long. I think this one, the technical team need to look into it. Just now, it took us from about 1:30 and we came on only after about 2:30, slightly after. The other one is, it would probably be a very good idea if you have backup gadgets. Backup source of connectivity in case, it happened like what it happened just now. We lost a few presenters a few times. Okay, so take note of that and prepare for contingencies on your end as well. Now, the topic given, the POE, Mr. Sam has already touched on it. Do not do cherry picking. The other one that debaters, if all of you are debaters, that tend to be guilty of is squirreling. Don't do that either in the discourse. Face the topic, face it bravely. Don't squirrel either. All right. So the rest of it was fine. Presentation wise, you're okay. Your speech was fine. All right. We had a slight problem with the slides. I think it's to do with the connectivity. But other than that, it's fine. All right. So generally, for first timers, you did a stellar job. And we are very, very grateful that you came on board.
All right.
So thank you
so much, Katan. Okay, now the winner. Dang, dang. No, just kidding. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, especially the participant, again, I would like to thank you. Basically, since some of us, we find some technical problem, and Katan, better mute yourself. Okay, and then so basically, all of you are winners. All right. It's not fair for me to name you, but I think for being the first time, you are all the winners, and I would like to congratulate you. And I was quite impressed by, especially on the opening and on how you do the speech and everything. So, and how you do the discourse, and I think that is something that to be commended and commended, and keep it up. And I don't know, maybe we will discuss internally again whether we would like to do it again, and if we can find time. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the time. I just would like to listen to you. If there is any questions or there is any things that you need to be clarified, I open up.
Would you like to raise? Yeah.
Say again?
Teams?
Huh? Or any suggestions from your part, but nothing to contribute with the rules and regulation. So if you have any questions, please do so now within the next 5 minutes, please. Anything? Are there anything from Scholar SMK Al Irshad? Any questions? Any comment?
No, sir.
Okay. SGS, Kalau dengan Sains, Tuanku Aisyah? Yeah.
No, sir. Thank you.
Semua everybody happy, yeah? Okay, how about the three separate people from SMKLK? Lembah Keramat?
No.
No question. Everything happy?
We don't have a question.
All right. So never mind. You guys look back. I think we record this. We did record this, and maybe we can share with you what we've seen so far. So I think so. Any last thing from Mr. Sam, Cik Shamil, and Katan? People here, Ramona and Cik Azrek. Okay, thank you so much. Again, hope to see you And please be on the lookout on our website when the actual competition will be on. And I bid you selamat petang, selamat berbuka puasa, and au revoir. We'll see you. Bye. Assalamualaikum. Thank you.
Bye.
Jadi kita sekolah.